All right, it actually worked this time. Finally, dude. Yeah.
Okay. 11 minutes, 13 minutes after our scheduled
Yeah,
2
we're supposed
o'clock
to start at
live
2.
stream.
It's 2:13, but first time there's going to be a little bit of technical difficulties. We've actually been recording the audio for about 16 minutes, so I'll probably cut that down a little bit, but if you listen to just the audio, you'll get some of that. Um, but I wanted to start today with a quote that is from Soren Kierkegaard. I don't know. How do you think you say that, man?
I'm gonna go with Soren Kierkegaard.
Kierkegaard. All right. Well, he's from Sweden or something.
Goodreads.com.
Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards.
Why did you think that was a good quote for today's podcast?
Well, we're going to be talking about the past a little bit, and I think it's true that you can understand life better looking back, but as you're living it, it's a little bit harder to understand why things happen. You just got to have faith that everything happens for a reason. Do you believe that sometimes?
I do, in a way. Sometimes I feel like you need to lead yourself down a path. In a way, I don't know. The quote is, "Life can only be understood can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards." So, in a way, I guess it's trying to say that you can only understand the past
After
and
you've lived
live
it.
for the future.
That's a good way to put it too. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about the past and maybe the future a little bit. But first, introduce yourself. I'm Zach. This is Zach to the Future if you're watching it on YouTube. If you're watching it on, or listening to it rather, on any of the podcast platforms, then it will just be called Bite Size Podcast. And then each of the episodes will also have their individual name. This one is a How I Met Your Mother reference. And anybody who watches that, we were thinking about doing a How I Met Your Mother quote at the beginning of this instead of this one, but apparently Soren Kierkegaard ended up winning this.
This quote challenge.
Yeah.
I'm James. For anyone who doesn't know, I am Zachary's best friend, and
Zachary?
yeah, sole proprietor to his will. He doesn't know it yet, but it'll happen. So what should we start with? What do you think?
Okay, well, the earliest memory that I have is, I don't know, I remember, like, going out to eat with my family when I was pretty young, like, maybe even, like, 5 or 6. What's the earliest kind of memory that you have? For me, a lot of times it's kind of just brief flashes of things, and, like, I don't remember every little detail, but I've got enough to remember, like,
Right.
feeling that happening.
You remember things, but not
vividly
always.
because
You
I was
don't-
so young. Yeah.
It's not always in your mind. It just pops up out of nowhere, and you're like, "Oh, hey,
Yeah.
I remember that happening." And it's usually when someone else brings it up. I feel like somebody be like, "Yeah, when you were a kid, like you used to do so and so."
Or even from like a smell.
right,
Have you
I
ever
remember
gotten
that.
like fresh brick smell or like freshly cut wood, and it just brings you back to like a moment where you were smelling that freshly cut wood or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like even freshly baked bread. If you have like a aunt that used to bake bread in her house all the time, every time you went over there, it smelled like bread. When you get that scent, you'll definitely like flash back to that moment and remember
Right.
it so clearly.
Definitely.
Do you have things that happen like that?
Yeah, like when I see potted plants, I remember my grandmother because she always had a plant no matter where it was. Like she always had a green thumb, so she would have potted plants outside hanging up, or she'd have them inside on the table, or just anywhere and everywhere, and they'd always be vivid and just full of life. So every time I see a potted plant for some reason, it just reminds me of my grandmother. So,
Oh yeah.
stuff like that. Some of my earliest memories go back to just hanging out with my grandmother, like watching Lethal Weapon before I was old enough to know what was going on in Lethal Weapon. Like,
Remind me of Lethal Weapon. I got to tell you a story about that.
okay, but yeah, just stuff like that. going to hang out with my grandma, or like because we lived in Florida and my grandma lived in Indiana, we would take a trip once a summer to go see her. And I don't know, like those are the earliest memories I have, are those trips from Florida to my grandma's house in the car, my mom driving,
Like
and
road trips.
going through the mountains and stuff like that. Like yeah, just
Oh yeah.
vivid things that I remember. I guess it's
I definitely have some road trip memories too from when I was younger. Um, so what age were you when you would say you had your first memory?
that's a tough one.
I mean, I'm
Going
thinking
way
like
way back, I remember like my dad, even though he's not in my life, I remember him owning a green Honda Civic for some reason.
how old were
Like,
you at that point?
well, he left when I was about 3 or 4, so somewhere before that. So it goes pretty far back, but that's just about the only thing I remember. I remember him coming to visit one time when I was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 maybe, like brought us to a natural history museum. I don't know. It was pretty young, so I'd say between 3 and 5, definitely.
Okay, well, let's do this. Do you remember anything crazy happening in elementary school, like from that age range? What was the craziest thing that happened to you, or the best story that happened to you? Because I mean, we
A
didn't even
weird
meet
thing-
until
okay,
high school.
Something weird about elementary school is almost every year of elementary school, there was 2 or 3 days that I got out of school suspension because I had a fascination with like this happened every year. One time a year, I had a fascination with bringing pocket knives to school and showing them off, and then like kids would snitch on me, and I'd get in trouble for that. And it happened like every year, and it was weird. And I never learned my lesson. Like I never once was like, maybe I shouldn't bring my pocket knife to school today.
Well, you weren't going to use it for anything bad, so I mean, it
Yeah, and then
doesn't seem that unreasonable to me.
in second or third grade, I remember I thought my mom's gold watch was the coolest thing, so I wore it to school, and my mom was freaking out all day looking for her
Oh,
gold
I'll
watch.
bet. It
And when I
didn't get
got
stolen
home,
or
she
anything,
was
did it?
so pissed. No, it didn't. But she was so pissed because I took it to school without asking her.
He said James is a little quieter than me. But the audio's just running through my phone, not on the mic, so I don't know. Are you
Maybe I
able to?
should get closer.
Yeah.
Is this better, Eric?
I wanted to cut you off on the video, though. Yeah, we're still trying to figure all this out.
Yeah, you'll have to work with us, Eric. If you could tell if this is better, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. But anyway, so did that stop when you went into middle school, or is that like?
Yeah, I guess it did. I mean, I stopped getting caught doing stupid stuff in middle school. I don't know. It was more like if I did bring it, I left it in my locker at that point. This is all day, and then
Right.
didn't mess with it until I got out of school, and I just brought it home with me. Because I don't know, I felt like middle school punishment was gonna be so much worse than elementary school punishment.
That's true. Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not trying to go through all
In
that.
elementary school, they kind of treat you like you're a kid still, but then in
Yeah, but when it
middle
comes
school,
to middle
you're
school,
like-
they're like,
they're a little harsher. And in high school, they'll like call the cops on you.
exactly. It's
I mean, it got to a point when I was.
and it was
in
worse
middle
where I was
school.
from because I was in a big city. So
Where was
there's
that?
like gang violence and stuff going on in schools and stuff like that.
That was in Florida.
Yeah. So when somebody brought a pocket knife to school, it was a little bigger down there than it is up here in Indiana.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And yeah, so I didn't want to get into any of that.
Yeah, I
I-
could see that being bad.
Too young of an age. But then, yeah, like I said, middle school, I kind of stopped showing off. And then, I don't know, started caring less, I guess, what people thought. So, I didn't feel like I needed to show anyone my pocket knife that was so cool in elementary school, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, in elementary school, I was just kind of a spaz, and there was this one time that this Russian girl joined the class and she started chasing me under desks and stuff, and I was just running from her screaming because she was yelling Russian at me. She was I don't want to be offensive and do like a Russian impression right now, but she was just chasing me under desks, screaming Russian at me like angrily, and I had no idea what was going on. But I was scared. And then her cousin, who was one of my friends, was like telling her to attack me. He's like, Olivia, sick him! And she was like, hi! Like I said, I don't want to imitate that, but it was scary. And things like that constantly happen to me, and I don't know. I would not get along with certain teachers.
You were constantly chased around by other children,
or
screaming
or
foreign
chasing other
languages.
children
Oh,
with me pretending to speak foreign languages. Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird time.
you're still a pretty weird person, though. I feel like
Depends
not
on the
running
day.
around yelling
Depends on the
foreign
day.
language is weird.
What?
But then again, that's kind of why you're my best friend.
Whoa, okay, this water leaks.
Anyways, where should we go from here? We're in middle school now, right?
Yeah. So what were you like in middle school, or what's an event that happened in middle school?
I moved a lot in middle school, actually. I started middle school in St. Petersburg, Florida. About halfway through 6th grade, I moved to a little city called Lakeland, Georgia, like about an hour away from Valdosta, Georgia. Finished 6th grade there, started 7th grade there, and then moved to Carrollton, Georgia, with my aunt. Went to a school there, and then we got our own house. So I went to a different school because we moved to a different district, and that's all 7th grade at this point.
Big.
Finished out 7th and 8th grade at that school, and then moved to Indiana the summer after 8th grade. And then from there I went to Wayne High School here in Fort Wayne, and then halfway through 9th grade I moved to DeKalb and finished off high school there.
Yeah, you knew one of my other friends. We said no names, so, but
That was 10th grade.
yeah,
I was dating a friend of yours.
yeah.
That girlfriend of mine was a good friend of yours, and I was jealous of you. To be honest, like that's the first thing I remember about you. It's like you were this guy who I thought was flirting with my girlfriend at the time. But then she reassured me that you guys were just friends, and you started, I don't know, you were a cool guy at that point to me. I was like, all right, cool.
What if I told you that we weren't just friends?
What
What if I told you after all these years that
It doesn't matter at this point.
you wouldn't
No.
harbor any resentment if I told you that?
No.
All right, bro. Well, we were more than just friends. No, I'm just kidding. We weren't.
But yeah, that's the first thing I remember about you. Like I had seen you in the hallways and whatnot. Like whatever, you were this goofy looking kid. But what I
Thanks.
remember about you was flirting with my girlfriend. But yeah, it's all in the past.
Yeah. But then, so you were in 10th grade, and
You were in 11th.
I was in 11th. We went my junior year.
Yeah.
Um,
10th
shoot.
grade. I was.
And then you joined choir.
I was in concert choir.
Yeah.
You were in show choir, Classic Connection. The fish fry.
Just a whole nother thing.
The fish fry, my 10th grade year, is the first time we hung out
Yeah.
outside of school.
Right. You came over to my house.
After the fish fry.
You're talking about remembering random things.
Yeah.
We watched Tanked that night, where they build the fish tanks for people.
Yeah, we thought it was
You
the
remember that?
coolest thing in the
Yeah.
entire world. I mean, it
That
is,
was-
but
We had like the
we
TV in my room so that the bed like boxed you into the room.
yeah, exactly. And you couldn't get out. You just had to watch Tanked,
Yeah.
basically.
Right. Or
And
sneak out the window,
we
which
watched for hours.
you know, things happened back then.
We're not getting into those things too deeply, are we, Zach?
No, I'm just saying there was some window sneaking.
Yeah. From both ways, to be honest. Now that we're getting it out there, we have snuck out and we have snuck people in plenty of times. I'm sure your brother and sister know,
Oh,
because
yeah.
we were not quiet about it ever.
Right, which we probably should have been, but once again, that's kind of what that quote's talking about, saying that, you understand things from looking back.
Right, you
and-
learn from the past is what it's
yeah.
trying to say.
Like, I don't think I would do that now, but
And you carry
when we're
that to the
when
future.
we were kids, yeah, we were just trying to
we
hang
we-
out and have fun, and
Yeah, young, wild, and free.
yeah, living young and wild and free, and
Which
Sure.
is a pretty poppin' song at the time we were
Right.
friends.
I just saw that yesterday. It came out in like 2006.
12 years ago.
I was like, dang, that is so old. I don't remember it being that old.
We are old, bro. Do you understand that?
It's crazy. It makes me feel old.
It does.
Uh,
It really does.
Right?
But then again, if you read something like that on Facebook, half the time it's not true.
Yeah.
So,
But sometimes it is. I don't know.
high school, we got into a lot of things.
Yeah.
We got into
Les
musicals.
Mis.
Les Mis was a very big
Yeah.
point
We
in our
we hung out a
us
lot during
becoming
Les Mis,
friends.
and then
Les
Um,
Miserables, the musical. If anyone doesn't know what Les Mis we're talking about, we did
It-
for my 10th grade year, Zach's junior year,
yeah.
and Zach and I became really close during that time because he was my only ride to musical practice, basically. And
Well, it was
we just
more
hung
than
out a
that.
lot.
I
Yeah,
mean,
and then we
We
started.
had started getting close at that point, and it was more of hang out for an extra few minutes, and half the time I'd already be hanging out over at your house at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
At least part way through it. At first,
Or we lived on opposite sides of town, so we would walk and meet each other, and then decide there which house we were gonna go to. Do you remember doing that?
Yeah. I was just thinking about that too the other day.
We would be like, "So you want to come over?" And you'd be like, "Do you want to come over?" And I'd be like, "Let's just meet," and then we'd decide when we met, like which way we wanted to go
Right.
from there, like who was turning around, basically.
We were also just talking the other day about how the first time I came over to your house, it was because we had stayed the night at my house, and we stayed up all night long watching YouTube videos and stuff.
And tanked.
Yeah, and tanked. And then you had to go clean your bathroom at your house or something. You had to do some chores. And so we walked back to your house.
No, you didn't really stay the night then.
I didn't. Well, you stayed the night at my house the night before.
Yeah, and then we went and did chores at my house, and then walked all the way back across town to meet somebody at your house to pick us up to go
Oh,
to
yeah.
show choir camp.
Shoot.
We stayed the weekend down wherever show choir camp was. I can't remember now.
I can't either. But,
And then you came back to my house.
yeah. And then ended up staying the night there. And, man, we had a lot of weird times staying the night.
Waking up before 7 o'clock to go to Subway before it opened.
Right.
We did that like 3 or 4 times in a week. Why we stayed up all night just to go to Subway in the morning?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of just became a
No.
thing at one point. It'd be like,
It's because we didn't.
you want to stay up and go to Subway?
You want to just, I don't know, listen to music and go to Subway in the morning? At
Right.
this time, it's
It's-
only 11 o'clock at night. Like,
Well, at first, it was just, we stayed up all night, and then we're like, let's go to Subway. They open at like,
Like, I'm hungry.
7 in the morning.
Let's go to Subway.
Except I think we
And
thought
this
they
is-
opened right. We were just going just to get subs and. But anyway, to go back to Les Mis, to kind of go somewhat in chronological order, what do you remember about Les Mis? I mean, there was the whole thing with like girls and our other friends who were in that with us, and all the people we kind of started getting more to be friends with through Les Mis as well as each other.
Yeah.
10th
10th grade was a big year for me, I feel like social-wise. I guess I made a lot of friends that I kept in 10th grade, all the way through high school. I met you of course.
Except me, we're not friends anymore.
Yeah, this guy. Anyways, I met you. I met like I don't know Dalton, Bell, Chris. Oh, I should probably not say last names. Chris.
Shoot, no names. Yeah, let's.
Yeah, I met a lot of influential.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Like the
Influential
lunch
people.
table, you could just say everyone
Yeah,
who used
everyone who we ate lunch
to.
with.
I'm gonna have to blur that name out on on the audio part. I probably
Everyone
won't,
we
but
ate. Yeah, everyone we ate lunch with, basically. I had a lot
Yeah.
of girlfriends in 10th grade. Well, a few. Quite a few.
yeah.
Um,
So did I. Yeah.
we shared a girlfriend at one point. Not shared, but
Well,
we had the same girlfriend.
that's another thing. There's. Do you know who Rhett and Link are?
Yes.
They dated the same girl in high school too,
Yeah.
and they kind of like joke about it all the time now. And I'm like, oh, it wasn't a joke at the time though. Like that almost. I mean, for a point, I think it even did break up our friendship.
oh yeah.
That was like the first time that we got in a really big fight.
You would not talk to me at all. I remember that very vividly. That was a low point in my life.
Yeah.
I was like, my best friend's not even talking to me. My ex-girlfriend hates me. Like, why? What did I do?
Yeah.
And then just randomly out of nowhere, you're like, bro, I don't want to fight anymore.
Well, yeah. I mean, girls are a stupid thing to fight about, especially in high school and being who we were and who they were. We're way different than we were then for the most part, and
Oh yeah.
I would imagine they are too. And at the end of the day, friendship that's with good people is
It's
more
worth
important than
being-
people who you don't even think about anymore.
Exactly. Our friendship is worth a whole hell of a lot more than that girl we both dated in high school.
Yeah.
But that all happened in 10th grade, though.
Yeah, that's crazy. I feel like my junior year, a lot happened too.
Well, 10th grade for me, sorry.
Yeah, 10th grade for you, 11th for me, but that same year, yeah, I think a lot happened.
That
And
changed us for.
yeah, and I mean, a lot happened the next year too.
Oh, yeah. What was the. I kind of based my high school off of, like, what the play and the musical was that year. What was the musical we did that year?
I
Your
don't.
senior year.
I wasn't in it. Yeah, Oklahoma, wasn't it?
Oklahoma. I'm not sure. Why weren't you in that?
Why didn't I do Oklahoma? I think I just didn't have much time. I was trying to do other things, and that musical didn't appeal to me as much as Les Mis or even like Footloose that they did this year is a good one.
Oklahoma was good for me. I don't know. I met a lot of new people then too, because that was when a lot of like outside people were starting to come into show choir, and like the new. I don't know. The freshmen that year were a big deal, I guess. Like, I don't know how to explain it. A lot of influential new people came in during Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Like,
Influential to your life
no, just
or to like choir and stuff.
yeah, to choir and to I don't know, yeah, classic connection, I guess. Like a lot of people came in that year that made a mark. You know what I'm saying? People, popular kids. A lot of popular kids started realizing that show choir is something that they might want to do
Yeah.
and coming
That's a
into
good
it.
point.
And that's when like they started the Skinny Boys and I don't know, a bunch of new people. It was crazy to me, honestly, how many people from 10th grade to 11th grade changed their mind about show choir. And I feel like it's because of Les Mis. Like, we pulled that show off.
Les Mis was
and
so
people
good.
looked up to
Yeah.
it. That's not an easy show to do and pull off.
And we did it amazingly.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like people realized that in my 11th grade year, that's when they started coming. Like, they started flocking out of nowhere.
And to be honest, I think, I just said they did Footloose this year.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite shows of all time, and I don't think they did it as well as even I saw them do it when I was a kid, and I don't think they did it nearly as well as they did a long time ago. But Les
Well,
Mis
to
was
be
like
honest, this
amazing.
year the choir and theater department was going through a lot.
Yeah, they did have a lot going on. I get that, but still, it's
They might not have had the time they needed or felt like they wanted to have, so I don't blame them for it. They were like a lot was going on this year here for the show choir and
yeah,
theater
that's
was
true.
with
I was kind of just hoping it would be like one last
the
hurrah,
director, yeah.
you know.
But you can't have that hurrah when
I
you're
can get it
being-
from both sides,
when you're being pushed out at the same time.
Yeah, that's a whole nother
That's a whole nother topic for another podcast.
messy situation that
But anyways,
people kind of got screwed over during.
yeah, Oklahoma was good for me. That was the first time I had an actual name in a musical or play, so I felt good about that. I had actual lines in Oklahoma, so even though you weren't in it, which disappointed me to be honest. Like I would have loved for you to be in Oklahoma with me, but yeah, even though you weren't in it, Oklahoma was big for me too. Oklahoma Les Mis, and then I played the dad in what is it? The Christmas Carol.
Oh, okay.
So that was a big role for me too. That was one of my biggest roles. So that year was pretty good for me. And you didn't do that one either, so.
No, I had already done that one in a previous year, so I didn't want to do it
But yeah,
again.
my 11th grade and your 12th grade.
Well, to
We
be
kinda
honest, that's
started
kind of when we
separating at
started
that point.
separating because I was moving to Arizona,
Yeah.
and I lived in Arizona for a little bit, and
I was out being a hood rat, basically, doing stupid shit. Still young, dumb, and
I
free,
mean,
I guess.
so was I, just in Arizona. Young and dumb, and you look back on the past. I feel like it keeps coming back to that quote. You look back on things and you can really see them for what they are. Whereas in the moment, you're just doing what you feel like, and
You're living.
yeah, you live in
And
the
you
moment
should live. You should
and
just.
you live it forward. But once you look back, you see things differently. But it doesn't necessarily mean you change things. Can you say
No,
you would
it's-
change anything?
Absolutely not. I feel like everything I did back then, I learned my lesson. Like, I wouldn't have been able to learn my lesson if it didn't happen. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If it didn't happen,
Can I ask you a question now?
what's that?
Did you learn your lesson before or after you got hit by a snowplow?
You're gonna bring that up now, huh?
Is it too early?
Definitely. I learned a lot of lessons before being hit by a snowplow, but being hit by a snowplow really opens up your eyes to a lot of things.
I don't know if people can see your scar on there, but
My broken arm scar. I have one on my stomach and my foot. But yeah, being hit by a snowplow definitely opens your eyes to things, but I wouldn't say at that moment I learned all my lessons. No. I learned my lessons as they happened, and sometimes I didn't, and then I went back and learned it. So I don't know. But yeah, definitely getting hit by a snowplow opens your eyes.
Yeah.
Well, they were closed for a while during surgery, but
Yeah, that's
it opened my eyes. in a way.
eventually you open your eyes a little bit wider, I'd say.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that teaches you a lot of lessons about life and looking back, and
Oh, definitely.
kind of puts things in a new light, I'm sure. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't have any crazy scars. I got a burrito tattoo. But I did fall off of a truck once. And I know even that kind of makes you see life in a new way. Like if I would have hit my head a little bit wrong, instead of 12 stitches in my chin, I would have been in a
Brain
casket.
damage.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy.
I feel you there. Yeah, I could be 6 feet under right now, but I'm not, and that's what I'm saying. Like, open my eyes. Like,
Well, you're pretty tall. Would you be 7 foot under?
it doesn't matter. I'm horizontal.
That's a good point.
Anyways, I'm not, so
Yeah,
it
that's
doesn't
good.
matter.
Yeah.
But getting hit by that snowplow made me realize that I probably shouldn't walk that close to the street. I don't know. That's one lesson.
Yeah, that's a good
learned.
lesson. That's
And then
kind of jumps right out at you, huh?
another lesson learned is I guess I never realized how much my family, like that wasn't my intermediate family, cared about me
Yeah.
until that point, which is sad, really, because they've cared about me that much this whole time. But it's taken me this to realize that, and that opened my eyes to a lot of things too.
Right. You know, I kind of got that even. Not that I want to necessarily compare them too much because I know they're completely different, but like when I moved to Arizona, I kind of got the same response. People were kind of realizing they may not see me for a long time, if ever. So a lot of people kind of showed me that they cared.
Yeah,
So
showed up like,
it's
hey, Zach's in town.
right.
Yeah, I feel you there.
Or not even when I came back in town. A lot of them had already been gone at that point. But like there was another friend of mine who, when I left, I was basically like, "Bye for maybe the last time," you know. And he was like, "All right, see you for maybe the last time." And you know, it was like it. People showed up who haven't showed up since, or didn't
Right.
show up for a long time before that because
People who you never thought would have shown up.
right.
were
It's
there.
not like near death or anything, but it's like if you may not see them again, it's somewhat similar.
Yeah, exactly.
But and some of them I haven't seen again, which you know that kind of shows
Which
the
do-
level
it
that
doesn't
it was
exactly
anyway, but
mean you won't see them again, though, either.
yeah, it doesn't mean that they weren't
just-
important at one point.
You
and-
haven't seen them again yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think if somebody's important to you once, they'll always be important to you. And
At least enough that you think about them. Because I know you're thinking of someone specific right now. So.
yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of that friend who that happened with. So, so, shoot. What other stories do we have? We got when we were playing Truth or Dare, and I licked an ashtray. Kind of regret that.
You did that twice. Do you remember that?
I didn't do it twice, did I?
Yeah, you did.
What am I, an idiot? I didn't do it twice, did I?
Yeah, we were playing Truth or Dare. For some reason, you kept picking Dare, and they just kept getting worse, and you knew they were going to get worse.
But I just
But
kept
for
picking
some
Dare.
reason, you just kept going, bro. You did
What?
not want us to ask you any personal questions. Like, that was not you in high school. In high school, you were like, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. You probably know more about me now than you did in high school.
Oh, definitely.
Although, we were close in high school. We hung out all the time, and
I mean, people knew we were best friends.
yeah.
Everyone knew we were best friends. But it's been that way since at least my 11th grade. We've been pretty close. We've just gotten closer, I guess. After high school, I got my first job at 18. Started working at Pizza Forum in Auburn. And then my brother asked me if I wanted to move to California. That happened. And that's when I started talking to you again more because we were closer. And I felt like we should get together at that point, right? And then when we started making plans to like meet up, that's when I had to move back.
Yeah.
And I took the bus to Arizona.
Yeah.
Well, I was taking the bus to Indiana. Sorry, Justin, you don't know this. My brother bought me a bus
You think
ticket
he'll watch this?
from California back to Indiana. I got to Phoenix, Arizona, where Zach was at, and the bus kept going and I didn't. I took a city bus for the first time.
Yeah, I had to
visiting you
try and
in
explain to
Arizona.
him how to get from this random bus stop to, or a Greyhound bus stop to a city bus stop to get to Applebee's where I was working, and
Never been on a public bus before,
yeah.
ever. And that took me about 30 minutes just to figure out which bus stop I had to start
Did
at.
you have money for a bus pass?
No, actually, a guy from Phoenix who was about to get on a Greyhound on the bus I came off of.
He had like an all-day pass?
Yeah, he gave it to me because he was leaving town. He was like, "Here, this lasts for the rest of the day." And I was like, "Thank you so much."
Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah, I got lucky there, but then I rode a bus all the way across Phoenix.
Did you just have to ask the driver how to get to
Yeah.
Applebee's?
I was at the wrong bus stop the first time. That driver said, no, you got to do this and get here. And I was like, all right. And
Dang.
then from there, that bus driver helped me. It was mainly one bus driver the whole way. But it was crazy, man, because I got to the bus stop where he said I needed to be, and I still didn't see an Applebee's anywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of hidden back there. They actually tore it down now.
So I walked around the block, and I saw it, thank God. I would have kept walking, bro, and probably got mugged or something. But yeah, I saw it, went to Applebee's, waited for you to get off,
Yeah.
and then
Kind of weird. I got mugged.
your
before
cousin
you.
picked us up from there. Yeah, you got mugged, but I got hit by a snowplow.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
that's true. Yeah, shoot, getting mugged kind of changed my life too. Put things in a different light.
yeah, there you go, man. That's your
Yeah, that's a better
that's your
example than
traumatic
falling off a
story.
truck. Yeah. Shoot. Yeah.
Where are we at here? We are at
Misty came and
36
picked us up.
minutes.
Yeah. Even longer on the audio version.
Yeah, we're at what, maybe an hour on the audio.
Let's see. Yeah, 52 minutes.
We're getting places here.
Yeah. Shoot. I mean, we're already up to past high school. Misty picked us up, and we started making music out there. Shoot, in high school, we were making all kinds of music. We just get like instrumentals and then record over it with my mics and like a
we did
recorder
a few
box.
songs. First song we did, One Direction.
Yeah. We did That's What Makes You Beautiful.
By
and
One
then we did
Direction. Cupid's Chokehold.
yeah.
And then what else? We started a lot of things.
We did
that we never finished.
Yeah, ton of songs. We started writing songs.
The time I visited you in Arizona, back to that.
Right.
We started writing a song that we are still writing to this day.
Yeah, we didn't exactly finish it because my nose started itching. I might release that one in a couple days here.
Yeah, the SoundCloud one.
Yeah,
The old version.
What we got, yeah. In case anyone's curious watching this.
Okay.
And then, yeah, we both flew back to Indiana because I bought him a plane ticket because I was already coming back to Indiana. And then we hung out more while I was back in Indiana.
Yeah.
And then
You flew back to Arizona, and I didn't see you for what, another year and a half.
it was about a year because I
The
came
next
back to go
time-
to the lake and
The next time you were in town, we didn't hang out because I was doing stupid things and you didn't like it. But then the time after that, I was done doing stupid things and we started getting closer again. The time after that, you moved back.
yeah.
So we started getting closer again.
Now we're friends again, which is
Yeah.
when he got hit by the snowplow.
Yeah, and then I was in Auburn or in Garrett, and you moved to Fort Wayne, so we stopped talking for a little while, and then I got hit by a truck.
We didn't stop talking
and moved to
necessarily,
Fort
but
Wayne, and now I'm
you
only
know-
15 minutes from you.
right
So
when
we
you
hang
live
out.
an hour away or more, you don't see each other as much, and
Yeah,
you know
which
you,
is understandable.
you
of
catch
course.
up when you do see each other, and you know.
Yeah, but now that I'm back in Fort Wayne, we see each other almost every day.
Yeah.
We see each other a lot more than ever, actually, when you think about it.
Well, in high school we saw each other literally every day at
Yeah.
school, but other than that, you know, that was mostly confined to the lunch table and
Seeing each other
choir
in the hallways.
and maybe in the hallways, yeah. But aside from school, I mean, this is the most we've ever like hung out. I'd
yeah,
say.
exactly.
And obviously now we're doing the podcast, so it's gonna. We probably should have started out with this. This podcast is gonna be the Bite Size Podcast. You can watch out for it
Did we
every
decide every other Thursday?
every other Thursday. Yep.
Just for now, if
If it takes off, if it does real well, we might switch to every Thursday. But we'll just kind of play it by ear and see how it goes, how people are reacting to it.
so far we got 1 like and 1 viewer.
One viewer right now, but people have been watching it the whole time. Leave a comment if you're here, unless that's Eric watching still, in which case you've already left a comment. Hopefully you're still able to hear James all right.
Yeah, hopefully you watched all the way through, and this is who we're talking to. Hello, Eric.
Yeah, and if you're listening on the podcast audio version, then thanks for listening.
Of course.
You can definitely check it out on YouTube at the Zach to the Future YouTube channel. Every other Thursday at 2 o'clock. Today we started about 15 minutes late because we were getting everything figured out, but hopefully from here on forward it can be started as close to 2 as possible. And if that needs to change, obviously we'll let you know. Um, but yeah.
What about?
So now that we're doing this, you can at least catch us every other Thursday, and we'll be hanging out for this, if nothing else.
So what are we going for here?
But-
At least 45 minutes, or?
Well, I was thinking like 50,
Okay.
but if we're done talking, then we're done talking. But I mean, we can talk about what we got going on now. Did you want to talk about the future or anything? Like, what do you want to be if you could be anything? Obviously, I work at Walmart right now, but that's not like my eternal goal. I'm not trying to be Sam Walton Jr. I'm just, making.
Sam Walton Jr. Do you know that name just because you work at Walmart?
I think I had heard of it before then because it's called Sam's Club,
Mm-hmm.
and it's his. I don't know. I was always like, "Who's Sam?" And my parents were like, "Sam Walton."
yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of knew his name already,
Okay.
but
But my long-term goal, but I have two, I guess. I'd either want to be a chef, culinary school, or maybe the album I'm writing will pop off.
yeah.
Definitely want to. Definitely want to take music further. And do
Pretty
something
passionate
with
about
that.
music.
Yeah.
I
You
know
already
we-
know I'm pretty passionate about music.
I know. We've been getting into John Bellion a lot, listening to him.
He's very underrated.
Yeah. If you haven't already, check him out. Especially
Quite underrated.
Dead Man Walking. Maybe fashion if you're into slower stuff.
New York Soul.
Everybody
Funk 2.
kind of knows Low, All Time Low.
Yeah, all time lows is
That's his
probably his
biggest
most
one.
popular one.
Yeah.
But you should definitely listen to more of him because he is a great artist. He does everything by himself. He produces, he writes, he plays the instruments. So definitely someone to look into.
I guess to get back to us, is that kind of the style you're going for, or you think
I personally like acoustic.
slower
music.
acoustic kind of stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, that's more what I want to get into. 'Cause that's what my voice is set for. It's better for that. I'm not the best rapper. I feel like my singing voice is better than my rapping.
Right.
So, definitely something I'd want to get into is cute. I don't know, write an acoustic album. Have you played guitar for me? Like always.
Shoot, yeah, I was gonna say we could even do because I mean I'll say this in the update video I got to record for my channel still, but I'm planning on every Friday doing a video that's music related. So it'll either be like one of my songs or it'll be
Talking about something.
talking about
related.
something music related. Yeah, but I would definitely want to have you like featured on a song.
Exactly. I'd like to
Eric just recorded like chorus for
Sometime
one of my
soon.
songs, and
finish that song I wrote out in Arizona.
yeah, if we can finish that, we can
Get
just
that
record
out
it
there.
acoustically, and yeah, I think that'd be dope.
But other than that, that's where I'm trying to go. I can't work right now, because of the accident.
Yeah, still
But
recovering.
hopefully
from that.
soon I can get back on my feet, start working, start investing in more music technology, get that going, and then see where it goes from there, I guess. Do this podcast every other Thursday.
Maybe
get my
every
name out there
Thursday.
somewhere.
Yeah.
And
And
I don't know. Like the quote says, you gotta live for the future.
that's true. You got to live forward, and I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm working on my book, and obviously YouTube and some music stuff myself, and I don't know if any of that's gonna take off, if any of that's worth anything. Maybe I'm just wasting all my time right now. I don't really know, but you gotta live forward, and maybe I'll look back in the future, and no pun intended, with Back to the Future, but maybe I'll look back and be like, why did I waste 10 years writing that book that nobody liked? Hopefully not, but
Right.
you
But
don't
it'll be
really
a
know
lesson
until
learned.
you get to that point, yeah. Or maybe I'll say I worked for 10 years on YouTube and didn't get more than 300 subscribers, and I say, man, why did I waste 10 years doing YouTube?
Exactly.
And I hope that's not the case, but you always,
Either way, you
you gotta
writing.
live
You love writing your book, so that's
Well,
what
that's true.
matters.
Yeah, live how
Writing
you
the book-
love.
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
the things you enjoy.
You love writing your book, so no matter who likes your book or whatever, you loved the fact that you wrote it, and it took you that long, and you put that much time and effort into it, and
Yeah,
you're passionate about it.
It's a
And that's
passion
another reason why
project.
you're my best friend, because you don't start something that you're not going to finish. And you're goofy as all get out. So,
well, I mean, I think you're kind of the same way. You tend to be very passionate and you work towards things you believe in, you know? And
definitely. I try to, at least.
yeah, that's
as
another.
much as I can.
Exactly. That's something else that I really want to get into in this podcast. Not this episode, but in future episodes, just random topics and stuff. I know we've already discussed some topics that we would love to talk about and maybe even like discuss with you. This one was a little more about me and him and our backstory and things like that. So,
Numero uno.
yeah, I think we still got just those comments from Eric. But in the future, I would love it if people could talk to it with us and we can discuss current events or whatever's going on. And I mean, we live.
I want to talk about it.
You guys got his name right the second time? All right.
Woo!
Yeah, at least we got it right at one point.
Yes, Soren.
Oh, man. Hopefully that didn't mess the microphone.
Yeah, the Swedish fellow from
You sound
the
like Ric Flair.
correctly, I believe.
Yeah, we got a text. Hopefully she doesn't call or else this live stream might end. I
Yeah.
didn't think about that beforehand.
Maybe
But,
this is a good note to end it on.
yeah, so these are going to be about an hour.
Roughly.
Roughly, yeah, if we have more to talk about, we'll keep going. If we have less to talk about, then we'll end it early. We're not trying to waste your time, so if we have stuff to talk about, then, you know, we'll talk about it as long as you guys want to listen, and as long as we have interesting things to add to the conversation.
We don't want to waste your time, but we also don't want you to waste our time. So let us know how you feel about these.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And is there a topic you guys want to hear about?
Exactly.
We'd love to exactly. If there's anything you guys want to talk about, let us know in the comments too, and we can get that into a whole episode or part of an episode. We also plan
Maybe
to have
we can do an episode where we talk about nothing but.
moms or something. Speaking of which,
There's my
as
mom.
soon as I said
Hi,
that, his
Mom.
mom commented, and we just said my mom sent me a text about which time we said his name right. So, I mean, for those of you listening to the podcast, obviously this has already happened, and you won't be able to join this conversation, but we will try our best to read out loud what people are commenting before we react to it. So that you guys just listening can know what's going on too. We're not trying to leave you out, but I know the people who are watching have interesting things to say and talk about too. So,
Definitely my mom. My mom, 100%.
Once she goes on
to
an
be on the
episode,
podcast
yeah.
so bad. She left
she's
the
very
house today
opinionated. Yeah.
for us to do this. So we'll have to get her in there sometime.
We'll definitely
soon.
get her on the podcast soon. And then my parents and
That is my mom's friend Jen. Hi, Miss Jen.
yeah. It should be fun. Thanks to everyone who's watching, who has watched. In the future, we're gonna do a bonus show after the show, where it's a little bit more anything goes. And yeah, that'll be available to Patreon subscribers. But fear not, the show will always be available on YouTube for free, where you don't have to worry about going to anywhere else or doing anything special for as long as we're going to talk. So,
My mom tunes in now that we're almost done with this.
I know, yeah. I feel bad leaving with 3 people watching now.
Yeah, exactly. We finally get more than one person at a time, and then
But
We
people
stopped
can
talking.
go back and watch it later.
yeah, exactly.
What's Can you think of any other crazy stories we've had?
Any other crazy stories? Maybe my mom can tell us one.
With you and
Maybe.
me? Maybe.
Maybe she can.
What's your topic today? We're just kind of talking about us, to be honest.
How we met.
How we met, our
Before
past
we met.
things that have happened to us in the past, and a little bit of the future.
Yeah. But we're almost done with that now. You guys tuned in a little late. I told my mom 2 o'clock. She
Yeah.
must not have been paying attention.
She's
2
in a
o'clock.
different time zone, so no, she's in a.
She's a couple blocks away. But
but yeah, I think we're gonna end it for today.
hope you guys enjoyed it.
What do you think we're gonna talk about in?
Episode 2.
Yeah, not next Thursday, but the Thursday after that.
Lazy Susans.
We could talk about Lazy Susans. Yeah, if you're interested in Lazy Susans, we've got.
Or we could talk about
James's mom says that James's mom is cool.
the FIFA World Cup that I showed you last night. That's a pretty deep topic to get into.
Oh shoot, yeah, we could definitely talk about that.
But I
There-
guess we'll find out in 2 weeks.
Wow, man, maybe we should talk about that for 1 second.
I am sweating and I have to go pee.
Okay, we'll end it right here then.
Have a nice one, guys.